I was at a meeting with a whole bunch of mums this morning from my son's school, and the conversation turned to menopause and peri-menopause. And it was interesting because one of the mums was saying she just had sailed through these years, no problems at all. And another mum was talking about how interesting it was that in the papers at the moment there's talk of women who are suffering from menopausal issues potentially getting time off work, statutory time off work, so that they can rest and nourish themselves and be able to function fully when they come back. And it's really interesting. I was reflecting afterwards how so many women experience perimenopause and menopause in such incredibly different ways. And it's impossible, like anything else, it's impossible to truly empathize with somebody who is dealing with, insomnia, anxiety, palpitations, sudden onset of claustrophobia, not being able to go into spaces where there's lots of people, feelings of overwhelm, which all sounds so nebulous and weird, but when it affects you, when you are in a situation where you've never suffered from depression or anxiety before, and suddenly you don't know who you are, you're finding things that used to be so easy completely overwhelming. People who have suddenly very aching joints, stiffness, like they're moving like an old woman, pain with sex, or just absolutely no libido. The atrophying of the muscle fibers around the pelvis. So when the estrogen levels start to drop and fluctuate madly for many years, and the progesterone levels start to drop, the muscle fibers around the pelvis weaken, and we can inadvertently do ourselves a lot of damage when we start to do high impact exercise, etc. So it was really interesting just reflecting on how little is actually known by the general public. And certainly I found in the last couple of years I've gone to quite a few different GPs with all sorts of symptoms. I thought I was going out of my mind. All sorts of stuff going on, which now I know were hormonally orientated issues. Not once was I talked to about the fact that there's now bioidentical, well, they call it body identical. It's bioidentical, but regulated HRT. So not like the pill, which is synthetic, but it's HRT, which is exactly the same molecular structure as what we produce, and you can get this in very small, low dosages to help with all sorts of symptoms on the NHS. Well, lots of doctors don't know this. I was offered antidepressants often, but I knew I wasn't depressed at that stage. I knew that actually what I was experiencing was hormonally driven. I just didn't know why. So it's actually taken a huge amount of research over the last 4 or 5 months actually now, and I've talked to some specialists in hormone therapy for women, a consultant urogynecologist who's a fantastic person to talk to, and I learned from her that actually, in her opinion, women from around 43 to 45, most of us would really benefit from being on low dose body identical estrogen, just to help keep the muscle fibers around the pelvic floor strong, to stop that sort of deterioration going into potential leaking and potential prolapse, etc. So there's so much that I have learned. I wish I had known a lot of this stuff a few years ago. I got to say that it's been the driving force behind my creation of the retreat I'm doing in Marrakesh in March, because to have that time, to have 4 days of being able to go into the parasympathetic nervous system, go into that really true rest and digest state of being in such beautiful environment, just away from it all, no kids, no commitments, no work, no having to do anything, literally no cleaning, no cooking, having that time to really just be and deeply rest. And then in that state, learning tools that can strengthen you, and you can then practice for the rest of your life so that you don't end up with issues, or if you've already got issues, you can mitigate the symptoms, the severity, and just knowing how to restore your core, to keep the pelvic floor toned, how to breathe properly, how to really connect with that inner stillness and be able to listen in and understand when you do need to stop and replenish, and actually just information on nutrition for hormonal health. That kind of thing is I wish I had known some of this stuff. I really do, and it annoys me that there's not more information readily available for women. It's changing. We're lucky. It is starting to change, and there are a lot of women now who are doing their best to get educated themselves, like myself, and so we can spread this information and get other women to learn, and then to tell their friends and their family. So if you are interested, if this is something you're interested in, there's something that you are dealing with, and I say to people, gosh, it's from about 38 that progesterone starts to quickly drop off, and around your mid-40s, most of us are actually having quite severe hormonal fluctuations up and down each cycle. So to know what to expect is actually to really empower yourself. To know how to deal with different symptoms is very, very empowering. And actually the research shows that the more you know, the less likely you are to suffer. So, and that's definitely true. I have found that the more I have learnt and the more I can clip things before they take hold, the healthier, the stronger I've become. And honestly, I couldn't get out of bed in end of March, beginning of April. I had a horrible vertigo attack that went on all night, and I ended up having a breakdown actually, and I had to stop working. I had to stop everything, and it was very confronting. It was a horrible time of my life, and I found that I really had to lean into my network, and I got a lot of help in order to start to get better. And then once I had a handle on things, I did deep dive into learning as much as I possibly could, and have made it my focus to implement all of the things. Like now I'm taking time just to be in nature by myself, if I'm talking to you, and I have found that little simple things like this have actually made a massive difference into how I am able to cope with other symptoms. And as a result, during the summer holidays, I ended up dancing like a crazy thing at Wilderness Festival. And I was really proud that my body was able to, given the right circumstances, was able to heal like it did. So this retreat in March, it's 5 days, 4 nights, although I am going to put an offer out there for 4 days, 3 nights, because some of you can't get away for 3 days off work, etc. So I'm going to put that offer out soon. But it's a time to deeply replenish and to also learn, and I really am going to put everything that I have learned over the last 13 years or so of teaching this. My own journey has taken me to a place where I feel like there's an awful lot I can pass on, and I'm going to be running a Atlas Mountain movement clinic as well. So going into the Atlas Mountains, really looking at how you can take your posture, your breath work, and taking that into everyday movement so that you are pain-free when you move. You're able to get out and do all that wonderful stuff that you want to do, but without worry about core and pelvic floor, and making sure that you are in good alignment so you can move well and pain-free. I'm also going to be running a workshop there, which is going to be the accumulation of everything, and I'm on another third age course at the moment where I'm learning a lot. It's brilliant. I'm going to be putting all of that into a workshop which I'll be running, and then also I'm going to be running daily classes to really my aim is so that you come away from this retreat with a sequence that you can do now onwards for maybe the next however many years on a daily or every other day basis, that's going to keep you strong and mobile as you age. So the idea is to come away deeply replenished with a real sense of who you are and how you can go forward, with 2020 being your most powerful, empowered year yet. I think the world needs us wise women. It needs us to be in a place where we can fully show up. And it's hard to do that when you you've had insomnia or night sweats, you're feeling dreadful. It's hard to do that. So if I could just impart some of the stuff that I have learned, and if you can then go forth and make your impact on the world, then I would be a very happy bunny. Anyway, I'm going to sign off now, but I hope you have a great day. Thanks.